Welcome to the second episode of Beaty Weekly. For those of you who are new and wondering what this is the show where David and I will be bringing you a little bit closer to the specimens housed here at the Beaty Biodiversity Museum, the research going on behind the scenes, and anything else we think is cool.
So we've been highlighting one organism from each of the museum's 6 collections. In our last video, we talked about tetrapods and we highlighted the blue whale. And in today's video, we will be looking at the fossils collection, where we'll be talking about Cyanobacteria. So what can you tell me about that, Kate?
So cyanobacteria were first identified as blue-green algae before it was discovered that they are not actually algae at all, and that they come in reds, browns, and yellows. They're actually bacteria. We don't have a single-celled organism collection here at the museum, but we still get to talk about the cyanobacteria because we have fossils.
This is a stromatolite. It's fossilized cyanobacteria. It's one solid structure made up of layers and layers and layers of those single-celled organisms.
Just the fact that we have fossilized specimens should be enough to tell you this is a fairly old species. The oldest known cyanobacteria specimen, fossilized specimen, is about 3.5 billion years old, which is pretty incredible because the oldest known rock is only 3.8 billion years old.
That's interesting. From the sound of it, Cyanobacteria doesn't exactly sound like the cute, fluffy type. Should I be terrified?
You should not be. Most of the creatures that were living on Earth about 2.5 billion years ago, they definitely were. Cyanobacteria are wholly responsible for one of the most significant mass extinctions in Earth's history. And then they followed that up by triggering what's called the Huronian glaciation, or the Snowball Earth episode.
Wow. Okay. When I hear the word snowball, I don't exactly think, wow, that's probably a reference to a period of mass extinction. I think that's just a cute cat name.
Oh, but it was. It was a mass extinction, and wait till you hear how they did it. They started producing oxygen. Specifically, they started producing O2, molecular oxygen, what we breathe. It was a product of the type of photosynthesis that they learned to do. But at the time, there was nothing on Earth that breathed O2. Oxygen breathers just hadn't evolved yet, and nothing living could breathe oxygen. So essentially, in one fell swoop of evolution, the cyanobacteria started pumping a toxin into the air in astounding quantities and caused Earth's very first mass extinction.
Okay. This is a lot that you're throwing at me. So, a long time ago, in a galaxy not so far, this galaxy actually,
This one.
when these cyanobacteria arrived and started producing oxygen, same oxygen that sustains most life on Earth, it actually caused extinction.
Yeah, there was no such thing on Earth as an oxygen breather. Like I said, they just haven't evolved yet.
Wow.
The cyanobacteria start pumping out O2, and over 75% of the species on Earth die due to oxygen poisoning. And then, because of the chain of chemical reactions set off when you pump that much O2 into the atmosphere, especially the combustion of methane, even the cyanobacteria almost didn't make it. Methane, as I'm sure you've all heard, is a greenhouse gas. Some greenhouse gas is vital to life on Earth. They're like the Earth's winter coat, so they're necessary in the cold outdoors of space. But if you turn up the heat like humans are, then suddenly it really makes you sweat.
Okay, so is this what scientists are talking about when they talk about climate change? Are greenhouse gases like methane increasing in the Earth's atmosphere, and that's what's causing the Earth's temperature to rise?
We're actually making the Earth warmer, and the cyanobacteria had the opposite problem. When you pump oxygen into the atmosphere and it reacts with methane combusts, you lose it, and that means that Earth lost its winter coat. This was what triggered the Snowball Earth episode. It was Earth's oldest known ice age, lasting over 300 million years. And while the cyanobacteria may have been impervious to the oxygen that they were pumping out to the atmosphere, they were not impervious to a planet made of ice. That ice age almost wiped them out as well.
Wow, okay. So when people say nature can be scary, they're not lying. Nature can be pretty terrifying
When
if it's
provoked,
in the mood for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Another question. Could cyanobacteria be making a comeback? Because I don't want to go extinct. I'm pretty young. I have a lot to live for.
You are safe from the effects of the cyanobacteria. You are the oxygen breather to their oxygen producer. Like, we complete them. When Earth broke out of this ice age, the cyanobacteria came back along with oxygen breathers, like our ancestors, which restore the balance.
That's...
For Spence.
And that's the end of the video. Before we do go, I want us to give a moment of silence to our fellow fallen species who passed away billions of years ago when the cyanobacteria invaded.
Yeah, we lost over 75% of all known species. It was a truly tragic event.
And thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this video. Before we close, I'd like to give a few acknowledgements. First of all, to the Pacific Museum of Earth and also to the fossil curators here at the Beaty Museum.
We've left some links in the description in case you want to read more about the Great Oxygenation Event, renewable and non-renewable energy sources, more about the greenhouse effect, but be sure to check back next week because we'll have another video with more stories from the next collection.
I cannot wait.